Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thank you for watching us tonight. JetBlue and the radical left. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. What do you think of someone who says the following? The world would be better off without him. That after Tony Snow announced his cancer had returned. The Pope is a primate. Evangelicals are nutcases. Better luck next time after an assassination plot against Vice President Cheney in Afghanistan. And some attacks against coalition forces in Iraq are legitimate. All of those thoughts were posted on a vicious far-left website called the Daily Kos, one of the worst examples of hatred America has to offer. This summer, that website is having a convention in Chicago, and only one major corporation has stepped up as a sponsor. That company is JetBlue, the airline that melted down last winter. As is our policy, we contacted JetBlue last week to ask why. Why would it sponsor a hateful website? Had no answer. So we sent Factor producer Jesse Waters out to see JetBlue CEO David Barger.
Hey, Mr. Barger. Jesse Waters with Fox News. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. You mind if we ask you a few questions?
Regarding?
On the Daily Kos website, it says attacks against coalition forces in Iraq are legitimate. Does JetBlue subscribe to that kind of thinking?
There's really, politics in our business. Really, it's not something that we mix.
What about the Pope as a primate? Do you agree with that kind of thinking?
Same. I mean, it's from the standpoint of running our business, that's what we do from an airline perspective. So there's really not alignment along those lines. I appreciate your interest.
Do you think you're giving legitimacy to this kind of thinking? I mean, they're saying the world may be better off without Tony Snow when Tony Snow had a cancer relapse?
I'm really not going to mix politics from the standpoint of running our business.
But aren't you guys kind of mixing politics by, sponsoring this convention?
I can see where you're trying to go with it, but I'm just not going to, to respond to that here at this point in time.
But don't you think your sponsorship is kind of a tacit endorsement of this kind of thinking?
I think just the ability to leave my apartment and do that freely and go to work is really what I'm trying to do. And along those lines, I think that people can draw their own conclusion. We're running our business, and from the perspective of politics, there's not alignment. So thanks very much.
Thank you. I mean, do you think that your JetBlue customers want to know that you're kind of subscribing to the belief that Iran has the right to attack Israel? I mean, these are the kind of things they're saying on this website.
I'll just close by saying this. I think our customers I'll treat them with dignity and respect. They're very smart. They'll draw their own conclusion, whether it's watching your news show, whether it's watching our in-flight television. They're pretty smart people. They'll draw their own conclusion.
And we have. It is beyond belief that a company like JetBlue would sponsor hate mongers like the Daily Kos. Comes a time when American consumers have to take a stand, and this is one of those times. Any company or person who endorses hate websites should be held accountable. Finally, this isn't an ideological issue. The company was sponsoring a David Duke convention. We do the same story. Hate is hate, no matter where it comes from. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, another view with this. With us, Diane Brady, a senior writer for Business Week magazine. I think Mr. Barger looked as bad as I've ever seen a CEO look in an interview like that. What do you think?
Well, he's probably sending free air tickets to the Pope and Tony Snow right now. But I think the main reason they did this is eyeballs. Daily Kos is a very popular website. It gets 500,000 hits a day. And one of the things with airlines is they seem to throw, tickets at high school debating groups, forums. I don't think they necessarily always know what's on there.
Yeah, but we told them what was on there before we did the story. You got to understand now. We didn't ambush this guy. We gave them a week. We said, look at this stuff, and they don't care. JetBlue doesn't care that they said all the things Jesse said at all. And I'm saying to myself, are they just plain stupid? Because this is hate of the worst order. It's like the Ku Klux Klan. It's like the Nazi Party. There's no difference here. People should die. They want Tony Snow to die. Cheney to die. Doesn't get worse than this, Ms. Brady.
There's no question Daily Kos is clearly on the left. And one thing that comes up, especially with these open forums, is you get a lot of lunatics come up. And I'm sure, I look at this site.
Look, I have my own website. We don't know. Open forum is bull. All right? You can regulate what's on your website. Now, this kind of a thing has got to be troubling to, I think, millions of Americans when they hear it, because this is the only, as we pointed out, sponsor, the only one. Everybody else stays way away from this. Why JetBlue? Why would they do that?
I think they don't think about it. It was 10 plane tickets, and I think they get solicited a lot. And probably they just sent it out and thought, well, we're not going to rescind on the plane tickets right now. It's such a small cost to our bottom line. But the reality is, in a transparent society like this, the O'Reilly factor or some other group can come back at you and say, even if it's a small amount, we're offended by this.
It doesn't matter to us what the amount is. They have their banner there. They have their banner legitimizing this. I just think it's an awful business decision. Am I wrong?
I think that probably retroactively they now regret it, but I think that certainly they throw a lot of tickets at a lot of different places, and one of the things with Daily Kos and with this convention is they're getting a lot of eyeballs. It's a very affluent demographic.
Would you do it if you were the CEO?
Well, I'll tell you, Fox News and Fox News and JetBlue have both sponsored gay and lesbian journalist conventions.
There's no contention. There's not. Look, gay and lesbians are Americans, all right? They're just gay and lesbian. These are haters. These are people who are wishing people with whom they disagree ill. That's who they are. That's what they do. That's all they do.
What's interesting about JetBlue, I think, is they see themselves as a very edgy, young airline. I don't know if you've ever flown them, but basically the people are supposed to leap
I'll never fly them again.
They're supposed to leap down the aisles and be happy-go-lucky and really apply to the youth crowd.
I think this is, as I said, just an awful business decision. Now, that airline changed CEOs. This Barry Barger's a new guy. The creator got booted out because the airline melted down last winter, correct?
Well, one of the things they proved, they grew very fast. They basically came from nothing, and now they're in 54 cities. And Neeleman didn't really handle the crisis. You mentioned in the winter, the Valentine's Day. Yeah. People were stranded for 10 hours. They felt they needed more professional management. I don't know if this is the right guy.
You think Barger's right? I don't know. That's right. I don't know if they got more with this guy. Because, look, with Jesse, Jesse was asking very legitimate questions in a very calm manner. This guy had no answer. Are you legitimizing these people, sir, or not? Why did you do this? Is there a reason you did it? He had nothing. And this is the CEO of the airline? Come on. This guy's in charge? It's just ridiculous. This airline, JetBlue, do you believe this is coming back? Do you believe? I think now it's going to lose some patronage. I do believe that will happen from this report. But do you believe this is a legitimate airline that's going to come back, or are they still in a lot of trouble?
I think their sales are up. Their on-time departures, frankly, stink, but so do everybody else's right now. They're a small airline. They're the biggest at Kennedy, but they're only the biggest at Kennedy. But they're an upstart. They like to see themselves as being kind of the 21st century airline, and one of the things they do is they like to sponsor websites like this or conventions where Hillary Clinton and other people are going to be there.
I don't mind them sponsoring any. If they want to be political, they can be political, all right? But hate